Hello there! Welcome to We Are Crafted in His Image. I am here today. I'm so excited about this project. I almost wanted to change the name just so I didn't have to wait till Friday to post it, but this is going to be a Fun Fold Friday, or it could have been a Wow Wednesday. This is just such a fun card. Anyway, as you can see, I have the legendary ride. I got the motorcycle on there, but when you pull on this ribbon, look at that! Isn't that fun? So, whoops. Let's put that back out. There we go. Yes, I'm gonna show you how to make this for our Fun Fold Friday. So let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is put our motorcycle together. Now I have already, there's only one stamp in this card. I went ahead and die cut all the pieces out that we're gonna need for the motorcycle. And I'm gonna put this together. And let me move this out of the way. Now, some of them, actually the only ones I put adhesive on the back was my wheels, or the tire technically. Now the wheels, these are kind of cool. These are the spokes, this is the wheel. And another demonstrator pointed out that the little pieces that come out of this look like little Hershey Kisses. Can you see that? Isn't that cute? So if you have the Nothing's Better Than stamp set, you cut these out with brown, you would have cute little chocolate chips to go along with your chocolate chip cookies. Or you could use them as kisses for the chocolate part. So the Nothing Better Than chocolate. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of fun, a little extra, so I'm not going to lose those. I'm going to hold on to those so I can use them on another project. That's part of the reason I didn't do this part ahead of time. I wanted to show you that. Oh, get that in there. Come on. There we go. All right, get all my other little pieces that fell out already. There we go. So these are the spokes for our tires, our wheels. Now let's get our tires on. I did put adhesive sheet on the back of those to make it easier since they are pretty thin. Get those on. And see if I can do this. Come on. There we go. Put that one on. There we go. Now you are going to want some dimensionals on the back of these. And these little dimensionals fit perfectly in the center. However, you're also going to want a few around the edges, and in order to do that you're going to need to cut. And I'm just going to cut along the edge here some really skinny little strips so that I can, and it's actually easier to, oops, pop off with this, maybe. It's not wanting to cooperate with me. I think I'm going to put probably 3 on there just to give it a little bit of help hold it. This one here might be a little long. Let's see. I don't want it to show. There we go. Oh yeah, that'll work. That will work. Okay. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's so worth it. This is such a fun card. This is where it would have been great if I had some of our black Stampin' Dimensionals, and so that you don't see this underneath there, it kind of gets hidden. However, I don't have any, so I'm going to have to go with the white. Alright, so our wheels are ready. Now, the one part I am going to have to use some glue. I did not put the paper on this because part of it is not going to have anything behind it, like under this handle. There's not going to be anything under it, and it's going to be lifted up, and I didn't want it sticking to the background. So we are simply going to glue. And what I'm actually going to do, this is a piece that's going to get glued to, so I have flipped it over. I'm going to lay this where it's going to go, and you can follow, you can see exactly where it's supposed to go on there. And then I need to grab a pencil, and what I'm looking at is I'm trying to line up this little gas tank part right here, and then I'm just going to mark those spots so that I know not to put glue elsewhere. Oh, come on, don't move on me. You need to stay still. Thank you. There we go. I just want the glue in that area there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this open. And grab, I like to squeeze out and make sure it's moving. Yep, it is, yay. Then I just want a little bit of glue. You do not want to overdo the glue on this. Just gonna put some on there. I don't think any came out right there. I can't see. There we go. Yep, now there's some on there. And then rather than flipping it over, again, I'm just gonna do it from this side. I'm going to line up those parts right there. And there, that part is ready. And this is going to go on dimensionals as well. Put one here and here. And one there. And actually, oh, I should have done this before I stuck the dimensionals on. I found last time it was easier. It would be easier to glue this on before it had the squishy dimensionals behind there. So let me see if I can lift them off. Oh, I can. At least that one. Let's get those out of the way. It was easier to actually give a good press down and make sure it was adhered well if I didn't have the squishy dimensionals behind there. So now I have two, what do you call them, fenders. And I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on here. And this is where you do want to use, the fine tip glue is made anytime I'm using a non-porous material. This is the best glue to use for it. So because that silver paper that I used to cut out that frame is non-porous, this is the glue I want to use. Even if it was thicker, I would want to use that glue. There we go. Yes, I have much more control on this one than I did on the last one. Okay. Now, the one thing that I did not like about the way the dies were made is when I see a motorcycle, generally the gas tank is always the same color as the fenders or very similar. So what I ended up doing was I cut out a second one of this back gray piece in the Bermuda Bay color, and I am simply going to cut out the gas tank that's already, it has that embossing on it. I don't know if you can see that at all in the camera, but you can see the gas tank embossed on here. There we go. And I'm going to glue that on top of the silver tank. There we go. There, give it a second to dry. And then I also want to put the seat on. So let's go ahead and just put a little bit of adhesive. This is so much easier doing it before I have the dimensionals on. The last one took a little more effort. There we go. Give that a second to dry. And now I'll put the dimensionals back on the back. Good thing I didn't push them down very hard when I put them on the first time. Okay. And then I want to, debating if I want to put the wheel on. Yes, I do want to put the wheel on first. So let's go ahead and take our backings off. This is probably the most time-consuming part, is putting this motorcycle together. Get that on there. And then this one. Oh, that one's already off. Line this up. Okay, and then I want a little bit of adhesive on this part here that is going to be on the wheel. A little bit on here. My glue's not coming out. Oh, it's because I left it open. Let's see if I get some. Oh, there it comes. Oh, much better. And I want some on this part down here as well. So peel off. Oh, I should have peeled the backings off first, so that glue didn't have time to dry before I get them off. One more, quick, 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 get off of there. Okay, flip it over, line it up, and hold it down. Okay, and then what I'm actually going to do is grab one of my acrylic blocks, set it on top, and then I'm going to actually just push this off to the side while we start on the card base itself. So let me move this out of the way, put that on so it can dry, put the lid on so that doesn't dry, and let's put our card together. Okay, so this is actually 2 days since I actually started making this card. I have had to redo the video twice because of issues with my camera, and I can't blame the camera. It was actually user error. Did not have it set on the right setting. It refused to focus on black cardstock, and so it was just too difficult to watch. So we're trying this again. To finish up our card, we do have our motorcycle all finished, so I'm going to set him over here. We need a half sheet of black cardstock, and it has been scored. Unlike our normal where it's scored at 4 1/4 in the middle, this one actually has 2 score lines, and so one of them is at 4 1/8. No, excuse me, yeah, 4 1/8, and the other one is at 8 1/4 inches. And now we have to make a slit. We're going to do a cut on it. Let me make sure my cutter is in screen so you can see here. I am going to bring the cutting blade. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is put this edge of the paper where the 8 1/4 inch score line is. I'm going to put at the 1 1/4 inch mark over here. And then I'm going to put my blade. There is a line right here on the blade. I'm going to put it at 7 1/2 inches, which is right about there. And push that down into the paper, and then I'm going to bring this down to the 12-inch mark. And I know you cannot see that on the screen because of the black paper underneath, but from 7 1/2 down to the 12 basically gives me about a 1/2 inch on either end, and it is 1 inch from this seam, from this score line right here. Okay, so we can set this aside, and now we're going to get our inside panel ready. First thing I'm going to do is grab a piece of some scrap paper here. We want to take a little bit of the Sahara Sand and the pumpkin pie, and I don't know if you can see on this panel, it has a little bit of grungy smoosh, or a little bit of marks and stuff around the edges. Makes it look a little grungy. We're going to replicate that on this piece with some Sahara Sand. Grab the right brush. And I really only need to do this edge and this edge. This edge is going to be completely underneath. It's never going to come out of the card, and this side's going to be hidden underneath our road. So we really only need to do this edge up here and this edge. And I'm just going to add, and this can have like lines. This one doesn't have to be as, a lot of times we try to keep it nice and smooth and what's the word? Delicate, I guess, where it blends out. This one you actually want some brush marks. There we go. So that one is done, and now grab my orange brush here in pumpkin pie and do a few more streaks with the pumpkin pie. There we go. Then the next thing we're going to do is stamp our sentiment on the inside. And I have this already set up from when I did this the last time. So I know it's straight. And that's where we're going to stamp it. I'm going to use Bermuda Bay, which matches the colors on our motorcycle. And a little tip, a little color tip for you. When you're doing a project that you want to be very serene and very, I don't know, mellow, I guess, you would use colors that are close to each other on the color wheel. But for this one, we want this to be a little more of an action type of card. So I am using colors that are opposite on the color wheel. Orange and blue are opposite each other, so that gives you more of a sense of motion. So there we go. We've got our sentiment, and then I will clean that in a little bit. I do have 2 pieces of gray. This is gray granite, and one is just slightly smaller than the other. This one is 1 1/8, this is 1 1/16. I will have all of these dimensions on my blog post. So if you find, if you look in the description box, if you're watching this video from YouTube, in the description box below, you will find a link to my blog and the specific post where this project is found, and you will find all the dimensions and links to the products that I'm using. So this one here, I did forget to cut back down. I cut this one the same length as that one, but this is only a 5-inch piece wide, so I'm going to go ahead and just trim off this excess. There we go. Now we have our inside road ready to go here. Let's get the outside of our card ready. I'm going to go ahead and do some folding on those score lines just to make it a little easier, especially for you to see. Definitely want to burnish. And then get this one folded up. Make sure those match nicely. Yep. And now we're going to go ahead and adhere. Again, this poor piece of paper. Alright, let's see. We're going to go ahead and get some adhesive all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and put some, because I have, this poor piece has taken a lot of battering. I'm going to go ahead and add a little more extra adhesive there, because whether this video works or not, this is the last time. Okay, so this one here is going to go all the way to the top where this crease is, where the fold is, but it is not as wide as our paper, so I'm going to center it left to right. I have a little bit of black border on the sides. There we go, and you'll notice it's just above the slit. Okay, it should come just above that. Alright, and then we need to glue on our road that's going to go underneath here. However, this road, we want to, I don't want the adhesive to cover up my slit right here. So rather than putting adhesive on this piece, I'm going to put it on my background piece. I'm going to go below the slit, all the way to the edge though, or close to the edge, and then down at the bottom there. Alright, and then this goes down here at the bottom. And it looks like my poor piece of paper, I didn't get it quite lined up as well as I should have. I'm getting good at tearing this piece of paper off, aren't I? Oh. There we go. Oh, this poor thing. Okay, try that again. I'm just going to butt it up against the edge of that. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to give it a really good burnish because I am not taking it off anymore. Now, I have a piece of scrap vanilla cardstock. This one is, what 3/4 of an inch? A little more than 3/4, almost an inch. It can be anywhere between a 1/2 inch and an inch wide. You don't want it too wide because we want our motorcycle to go pretty far over this way, but you also don't want it super skinny either. So I would say between a 1/2 inch and an inch wide. And what I'm doing, I put it inside the slit on the left hand side of the card, and I'm going to put it right here. I want to make sure that's in a good, yep, perfect spot. There we go. And I am going to use tear and tape for this, if I can find it. There it is. You can use liquid glue. I prefer the tear and tape because, one, it's super strong, which the liquid glue is as well, but it also, there isn't a chance of this oozing out and then gluing this piece to your background, which you definitely don't want, otherwise your slider isn't going to slide anywhere. So you don't want that to stick out. I want to make sure this is pretty straight. And I'm going to go ahead and remove my backings. Put that in my cup. I'm going to bring this piece of glue down, or that tape got a little high. And then, like I said, I have this, I'm going to flip this over so that the writing, the stamp, is on the left. I'm going to put it up against the left side of my card, right here, in between those two score lines, and just put it down. So it's going to adhere in this bottom corner. And there we have, make sure it moves. There we go, we want that. Okay. Now let's put this piece together. Now you can put the tear and tape right on this flap. However, I find it's a little easier for me to put it on these two edges. So that's what I'm going to do. The only problem is you want to make sure that this piece especially gets very close to right on the edge of the card here. If it is in any further, it will end up going beyond this flap and then gluing this piece to the background, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so right on the edge. I'm going to do the same thing on this piece. There we go. Peel off our backing. Alright, and then just making sure that's out of the way. The easiest way for me to do is to actually hold this piece down with my tool. Lay down this edge and then move it along here, pushing that flap down until it's down all the way. There we go. Okay. Now we need to get this piece, and if it's not perfectly straight, like you can see mine's going over a little bit, that's okay. It doesn't make a difference. I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper just to give me something to push against this. I'm going to put it along the road, but then I'm going to lift it up maybe 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to take this piece and fold it against that. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it down a little bit halfway between what I just folded and where the road is. I'm going to pull this down and fold again. And the reason I'm doing 2 folds there is because on my others, when I only did 1, I found that my motorcycle wanted to lift out at the bottom. So by doing the 2, it's going to help it to lay a little bit flatter for us. Okay, then taking our motorcycle, we're going to put that back wheel on there, figure out about how high you want the motorcycle to go, making sure that this piece isn't showing, it's not going up above the motorcycle at all. There we go. Grab a pencil. I had a pencil here. Where did it go? Oh, grab another one. Oh, I had a pencil right here. And all I'm going to do is just draw a line underneath my tire to mark how far down the tire goes. And then just use my snips and cut above. Can you see how far up I cut? I just want to cut off that line to make sure this isn't going to show beyond my tire. Okay, so now once again we're going to grab some more tear and tape. Go across this way this time. Doesn't really matter. Okay, remove your backing. Okay, and then down goes our motorcycle. Whoa, 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 our motorcycle's doing a wheelie here. We don't want him going down. Well, I guess he could go down the road doing a wheelie. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Push down. I'm trying not to push a whole lot on the spokes of my wheel. I don't want to push with this either. I don't want to leave poke marks. Oh, here. There we go. That's not quite as sharp as that pokey tool. There we go. It's still wanting to lift up a little bit, not like the other one was. Now, let's see if it works. Ta-da! Okay, now I do need to add something on here. Oh, it's a little tighter than my other one, but I need to add something on here so that we have something to pull. So what I'm going to do now is just grab a piece of natural woven ribbon. I think that's what's called, woven ribbon. What is that? 2 inches? 3 inches? Fold it over, just enough to give you something to grab a hold of. Cut it. Then stick that on there with it kind of making a V shape. And then I'm just going to use a stapler and staple that on. And now we have something to grab to make it easier to pull our piece out. And it kind of tells people, hey, grab that, see what's behind there and see what happens. So there you go. There is our finished card. When I go to edit this, I really pray that there's no issues with the focusing on it. We have one here that is a birthday card and one that just is for pretty much any occasion, I guess. It says classic authentic you since forever. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed this project, and until next time, God's love and blessings. Bye.